I want you to imagine a whirlwind moment. The lights are flashing, cameras rolling, fans cheering. At the center of it all stands a name you've heard for decades, someone who built an empire on being bold, unfiltered, outspoken. Then, in the shadows, something cracks. What's seen in public glitz begins to crack beneath the surface, and the person who once held all the cards quietly raises her voice. That's where this story begins, not with triumph, but with a fracture. Because tonight, we talk about Wendy Williams, breaking her silence after the moment Sean Diddy Combs found himself locked up, and how the world lost it when she finally spoke. Buckle in, because what looked like a routine celebrity scandal is far deeper. It's about betrayal, power, survival, and the heartbreaking cost of speaking your truth when nobody else will. She didn't start at the top. Wendy Williams grew up far from red carpets and talk show lights. She was just a kid in Asbury Park, New Jersey, trying to get a word in, trying to be heard. From college radio to big city airwaves, she hustled. She wasn't built for staying quiet or blending in. Early on, she found her voice, and her voice was loud. She spoke about the stories no one else dared touch. Rumors in the music industry, the behind-the-scenes deals, the hidden truths. It was bold, it was risky, and she loved it. Her rise to national fame wasn't easy. She faced criticism, she faced doubt, she faced people telling her that maybe she should tone down the volume. But she refused. As she moved into television, she brought that same fearless energy. Her talk show became a platform where she didn't just discuss gossip, she dissected it, she exposed it. She became the voice of those who had no platform, the wild one who dared to ask the hard questions. And the industry watched, admired, feared. But even as she ascended, something else hovered beneath the glitz. Power dynamics, people with deep influence, names whispered in hotel lobbies, after-hours parties, behind closed doors. Wendy saw some of it. She talked about some of it. Others dismissed her. They said she was sensational, that she was chasing attention, yet she kept going. In hindsight, you realize she wasn't just chasing attention, she was chasing truth, and truth often comes with a price. She had a falling out with the music world, one big name in particular. She alleges that Diddy, the mogul, the entrepreneur, the man whose fingerprints are everywhere in hip-hop, had a role in her getting fired from radio back in the 90s. That's no small drop in the bucket. It's blow by blow, survival by survival. Wendy watched her world shift while others kept going. The shock value, the ego, the billions, they all danced around her narrative. But Wendy was still there, bearing witness. And when the fractures finally widened, she stood up again. Here's where the drama really unfolds, because what nobody expected was just how intense the collision would be between Wendy's story and Diddy's empire. Let me walk you step by step. It started with a whisper, a photograph, a rumor, a broadcast mention. During her radio days, she spoke about footage allegedly showing Diddy in a compromising situation. Wikipedia. +3. Hot new hip-hop. +3. Reddit. +3. Some people laughed it off as radio chatter. Others turned a blind eye because they didn't want to unravel the industry's tightly knit network. But Wendy didn't walk away. She kept pointing. She kept asking. Then came the blow. She claims that Diddy went behind the scenes and pressured the station she worked for, threatening to cut off music and artist access if she wasn't removed. People.com. Hot new hip-hop. She was fired from the station and moved to another city. It looked like career derailment, the kind of thing people pretend doesn't happen. But she knew it wasn't just business, it was punishment. Time moved on. Wendy built something new, her talk show, her brand, her voice. Meanwhile, Diddy's empire soared. But somewhere along the way, the rumors didn't vanish, they grew. And what nobody expected was how the world would eventually circle back to the whispers Wendy warned about. In recent years, Diddy faced legal trouble, major legal trouble, with allegations of sex trafficking, racketeering, abuse. People.com. Apple Podcasts. The same man who once seemed untouchable now finds himself under scrutiny. What nobody expected? That Wendy Williams would be the one saying, "I told you so." In October of 2024, Wendy publicly spoke up about the mounting allegations against Diddy. She said she'd known something was off for years. "It's about time," she said, referencing the video of a woman allegedly pummeled, the victims who were voiceless for so long. People.com. But here's the twist. Wendy wasn't just commenting as an outsider. She was living in a personal hell of her own. Health issues, fading career, guardianship. She was sidelined. And even as she spoke, most people were focused elsewhere. Her voice, once powerful, was quieter now. Yet the truth she floated in the air, it started to land. Then Diddy is in jail, charges stacking. Wendy's name begins to trend again. People dig up old radio clips, old articles, her book. They see the dots she connected years ago. She wasn't wrong then. She wasn't mixing up gossip. She was reading the signs. And suddenly, the script flips. The accused man becomes the subject of investigation. The woman who was sidelined becomes the one with foresight. What nobody expected was how Wendy's own life would mirror the chaos she spoke about. While she watched Diddy's world tilt, her own world was careening. Guardianship, health diagnoses, financial struggle. She went from center stage to sidelines. And yet, she resurfaced to say what she had always said. The guy was dangerous, powerful, unchecked. It's not just scandal, it's retribution, it's survival. It's a life spent warning while paying the price. The emotional impact of all this? It's heavy. For Wendy, for the industry, for the fans who believed in her. Let's look at what she lost and what she still fights for. For years, Wendy had the mic, she had the platform, she had the audience. She spoke truth to power, and in many ways, power punched back. The firing from radio incident wasn't just losing a job, it was a message. Don't step out of line, don't question us. But Wendy did anyway. Then her health. The talk show ended. Her diagnoses of primary progressive aphasia and frontotemporal dementia came into the public. Wikipedia. She says she's not cognitively impaired. She says she's been forced into a facility where she doesn't belong. She says she feels like a prisoner. The victim here isn't only the alleged victims of Diddy, the victim here is Wendy too. The woman who once questioned, once raged, once laughed and bullied boundaries, now silenced by circumstances out of her hand. The irony is brutal. And then there's the mental toll, trying to hold on to a public image while your body and mind betray you, trying to fight for your rights while the industry moves on, and watching someone you called out for decades start to unravel in the exact ways you predicted. That should feel vindicating, but instead, there's sorrow. Because you realize the system you confronted is the same system that let you fall. For the family, for the loved ones, for the people who watched her build and lose and fight and speak, this story is more than scandal. It's the flash of betrayal, the echoes of influence, the quiet desperation of a woman saying, "I see you," and the shaking realization that sometimes seeing doesn't mean you're safe. If anything, it means you're targeted. When Wendy broke her silence about Diddy's legal case, she wasn't just speaking about him. She was speaking about herself, her journey, her hurt. She said, "You don't know things that I knew back in the day." New York Post. That line carries weight, not just because of the power she faced, but because of what she sacrificed. And here we land at the powerful ending. Because if you step back, what we have here is more than a scandal. It's a mirror held up to the entertainment world, to power, to women who speak, to systems that silence. Wendy Williams, once the loudest voice in talk television and radio, now fights a war nobody saw coming. It's not about ratings or gossip anymore. It's about legacy, truth, survival. She watched Diddy build his empire. She watched others bow to it. She dared to question. And now the world is catching up. But let's think about it this way. What does the outcome tell us? That speaking out may cost everything. That the person who did the talking might be the one sidelined. that the empire you challenge may circle back and engulf you. Wendy's story isn't just about Diddy. It's about every woman who dared to say something when they were told to shut up. It's about every voice that got muted so someone else could stay powerful. And it's about what happens when that person faces consequences and the silenced voice rises again. Will she get full justice? Will the system redeem her? Will power be held accountable? Maybe. But even if the world never gives Wendy Williams the platform she once had, one fact remains. She was right. She predicted the path, she walked into the minefield, and she still walked out. The man who once seemed untouchable, now known as the accused. The woman once sidelined, now seen as the one who saw it all. So when you watch this story, don't just think about the headlines or the celebrity names. Think about the price of truth, the cost of speaking, the hands that try to silence hope. Because Wendy Williams is more than the scandal. She is the signal. And when she says it's about time, maybe she means it for all of us. Thank you for listening.